Hi everybody. So we're going to go to the next step now. We've already created our Excel file ready for import into SPSS, and that's what this video is going to be all about. How to bring it in from Excel into SPSS and how to prep it ready for analysis work. So this is the first screen you'll see, and up here it just says new data set, and unless you do anything else, we're just simply going to close this because that's exactly where we want to go to. If we were going to do an existing data set, we would go find it and open it as per normal. So I'm going to close. This brings me out here. So I'm just going to push this into a more suitable place now. And what you'll see is I actually also have the code book up ready and waiting for us, because I will need the code book once after I've actually imported the information, because I will actually need to set up labels. So here's the screen. So you can actually see from here we've got variable names that are not there yet because we haven't actually imported the actual file, and you've got the case numbers going down the side. Down here you'll see the variable view here and the data view here. So when I click on the other one, you see this will bring me back to the variable, and now you should start to recognize these types of things up here. But again, I will talk about them as and when I put them in. But these are part of the last piece that we did. So let us go now and bring our file from Excel into here and get going. So we're going to say File, Import Data, and what I want to import is an Excel. You can see from this list there's multiple formats that you can use depending on the software that you have, depending on how you've done it. For us, it's going to be Excel, so I'm going to click on Excel. Then obviously you must know the location of where this is. Mine is in this folder here, and I called it Pilot Survey 2020 ready for update. So that's the file I want to upload. And again, I think sometimes this can be the most difficult point, is knowing where your file is. So once that's done, I'm just simply going to click on Open, and it will take maybe a couple of seconds to bring this up. I never alter this, I just let it rip, because normally you've done all the hard work in Excel, but you can, if you want, to remove leading spaces from strings. In other words, if you've got a space before a word, it will remove it, that type of thing, or spaces at the end of words. String really means text in relation to SPSS. I'm simply going to say OK, and that will bring on board our information. You might have seen the other screen there, which is the output screen. Again, that just seems to have skipped back there, so I'll just bring it back. There is the output screen. The output screen is like a history of what you're doing at all times. So you can save it or not save it, it's entirely up to you, but I certainly would save it once I start doing the analysis work, etc., because I might do quite a lot of analysis work, but not necessarily bring them from here into Word straight away. So at least if I've got it saved, I can go back to it at any stage and just pull out the analysis I've done and use that data without having to run the analysis again. So I am going to save this, and I am going to keep looking after it. So I'm simply going to click on the Save button because it hasn't yet been saved. Again, I'm going to make sure it's exactly where I want it to be, and it's actually in this folder. And I'm simply going to call this the Pilot output file 1, just in case I decide to split it. This will be formatted with an extension of SPV, whereas the SPSS file itself is SAV. So I'm going to click on Save. So I know that's saving now, and again up here you can see where the name of the file is. So I'm just going to minimize that for a moment. So now I'm back here. Before I do anything else with this file, I'm going to save this file as well, because right now it's called Untitled. I don't want it to be untitled. I want it to be saved from the get-go, so that anything I do I can just quickly save and it's fine. So I'm going to click on the Save button here, and again making sure it's exactly where I want it to be. Now what do I want to call it? And in this instance I'm just simply going to call this again Pilot Survey 2020. Alright. Again, you can see it's going to be saved as an SPSS file, and the format extension is SAV, like I said just a few minutes ago. And click on Save. And again, if you look up in the left-hand corner, you can see the name, it's there. Okay, so what can we see? Right now what we can see are all the variables that we created back in our Excel sheet. So you should recognize these names down here now, all right? Because they are the ones that I use. Now in yours you might have called them slightly different, that's fine, but it'll be something similar to what you can see here. So again, to remember the name is the variable name, and the name should be short. It should be, if at all possible, kept to less than 8. It must begin with a capital, I believe. It should have no spaces in it. It should have no commas, full stops, etc. either. It doesn't work well if you try to do that. And even if you do try to put a space in, again, it kind of kicks back a little bit. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple. It's saying that everything is numeric at the moment, and I have no intention of changing that. The width is somewhat surprising to me because it's the first time it's done this to me. The thing you should understand with software like SPSS, every year they bring out little fixes, and in this instance, in some instances, they bring out something more major than minor, and different things might be here, different things might be changed or added, things like that. I thought it would all remain at 8, so, and again I would not have changed it anyway, but I might need to come back and change this now because it's changed it to the actual width of the characters that's actually in each of the cells, and that's fine for now. Also with the decimals, it's paid attention to what we did on Excel, and the only one that's going to have 2 decimal places now is this one for the amount to spend on apps, which is that one there. So we come to label then. Labels are missing. Now we have to put our labels back in. Values are missing. Again, we have to put the values back in. Missing hasn't been done, but I will actually put one missing in for everything. It's quicker, it's easier. Then I don't particularly have to worry, do I need to use it or not to use it? Because I know it's there and it'll be there whenever I do want it. Columns, I never change. To be honest with you, I leave it as is. It usually works out pretty well. Alignment is pretty new over the last couple of years. I don't really tend to use this an awful lot either, but I will demonstrate what it does. Measure is where you put the measure of scale in. So is it nominal, is it ordinal, or is it scale? Sorry, scale, nominal, or ordinal. It tries to make the best choice it can, and quite commonly it gets it right. Quite often it gets it right. And then the input type. All right, so that's what's going on there. So I think in the morning I said I'd change in all these to ordinal. I don't think I will actually. I think I'm going to leave it as nominal because I did say that this actually could be nominal or ordinal. And I think I'll leave it as nominal because SPSS seems to be picking up that it should be that way. So maybe I'll actually go with what SPSS is going to say to me. So I'm just going to switch back to data view so you can see what it looks like after being imported. So here you can see all the data that we had actually done over in Excel, and you'll notice when I go right down to the very bottom there is 222, which was the number of entries we had. But when you come into the SPSS, we no longer call it entries, we no longer call it rows, we call them cases. So each and every row, each and every line is now referred to as a case, because what the case contains is all the information about that person, that product, that location, whatever it is you're actually doing stats on. Whereas the column is the variable and it's about one specific item. So ID number, what sex, what gender are they, what age are they, that type. In other words, one aspect only. Whereas the case is everything to do with that, in this instance it is people, with that participant in all of the variables. So that's the difference between a variable and into the data view. Now, as we change this is going to be quite useful as well up here. This is value labels. Once we start to add value labels to where it's needed, you can either change to have the code numbers or the value the labels themselves if you just want to go backwards and forwards. But yet again, I will be demonstrating that whilst I work through this particular piece of work. So, but for now, I'm going to go back to the variable because I need to check that everything here is correct and waiting for us to go on. That's one of the reasons why I've got the code book up, because I'm going to have to deal with values as to what does 1 mean, what does 2 mean when it comes to the actual variable. So the ID number is straight away there, and again the ID I'm not going to do anything at all to because it's not necessary. I mean, you could actually put there if you wanted to, you could put ID of or number of participant, okay, and choose a word that how you're going to describe the people that you served. I tend to use participant because it seems to be very SPSS friendly. Okay, so we come to gender now, and when I'm doing labels I always have the original survey in front of me, because this is where you're going to put a description in of what the answer is about, so that when somebody reads it as from an analysis point of view, they can understand what the question is trying to refer to much easier. So in this instance, it's the gender of the participant. So again, this is what I'm going to type, gender of the participants. I think I'll keep this plural, and I will from now on. And again, if I want to see consistently what I'm actually writing to make sure my spelling is correct, I will actually widen this out. And before I'll actually make this go live, I will do a spell check on here as well, because there is a spell check here, as you can see there, but I won't do it until I'm finished. So next thing is late values. Again, there are values here, and the value I have here is, remember, and again, if you look over here at the code sheet here, 1 for female, 2 for male, 3 for other. So that's what we've got to do here. So I'm going to open this up. So I'm going to say value 1 is female, value 2 is male, and value 3 is other. Again, I'm just adding them in. Once I have everything in that I want in this area, you can't have anything up here, otherwise it won't be recognized. And you just simply say OK, and it drops itself in there. At any stage you want to go back and look at it, you can obviously just by clicking on the 3 periods here, that'll bring you straight in, so you can check it out, change it, add it, whatever's necessary. Okay, so moving along, missing. So I'm going to deal with missing now for every single one of them. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to open this up, and it says no missing value. Well, no, I want a missing value. Again, like we discussed in class, because we have answers for all of our 222 cases, this is not going to come in, but it is missing values to me is an important part, because people may not answer the question, or it may not be readable, and you cannot assume what that is. You know, if it's manually done, or there may be other reasons why it's missing. So to make the survey worthwhile, you need to always make sure the survey is quantitative, looking at what actually was returned, not what was not returned, hence missing. So I tend to use discrete, and I tend to use 999. Some people use 99, but I tend to use 999. And again, I think it's because I'm trying to make sure that even if I actually ask somebody's age and they were 99, that's not going to interfere with it or anything like that. I keep it really simple, and I'm going to simply say OK. So that's that done. So I'm going to go back on, whoops, sorry, I'll just cancel that. I'm going to go back on top of this. I'm going to copy this. I'm using the Control-C situation, so Control-C to copy it. And I'm going to highlight all of the others and paste them straight through. You'll notice that this particular one here has 2 decimal places. Can't do anything about that because I want the 2 decimal places because it's the average spend. Now, if we're happy enough to take it down after we've seen what's coming through and there are no decimal places, I then would suggest let's go back in here and let's change this to 0 decimal places as well, but not until we find out what's actually in the actual data itself. Okay, so again, going across, leaving columns alone. Again, right is here. So I'm just going to show you what's going to happen with this one. So if I were to go back to data view right now, and we're talking about gender, which is here, okay, it's still 1s and 2s. But if I wanted to change the 1s and 2s so that they actually displayed the value, not the number, by clicking on this, it will actually display the value and not the number, and click it again, it goes back to the number. So depending on which way you want to see it for whatever reason, there you are, you can do whatever. So now let's just look at this here, and the reason I showed it at this stage is so that when I go back to the variable now, you'll understand what this is all about. It's how to align it. So if I wanted that to the left, I could simply click that one on the left, go back to my data view, and as you can see, the gender now is all to the left. Unless I'm going to display this for some other reason, I tend to leave it alone. I tend to leave them all in the right. But if you want to do that, please feel free, but it has no major impact yet. All right. So we'll just go on, and you can see all the rest are still 1s, 2s and 3s, etc., because we still haven't put values in for them. So let's put the value back, and we can go back again to the variable view. And the final thing here is it nominal, is it ordinal, is it scale? Well, the gender is definitely nominal, so I absolutely agree with SPSS, so I will leave that alone. Then I'm coming on to age. Age again, I'm quite happy until I get to here. And here I'm going to put in age of participant. And again, I'm going to keep it plural because I just think it works better. And there is no value yet. Now, again, our next step, there will become a value in here because we have far too much of a range of an age. So we will be changing this in the next session, but not today. And again, simply going over, and this is absolutely scale, so I agree with it. Location, again, over we go to here, and in here it's where in the world do they live. So I'm going to try to keep where in the world the participant lives. Okay, again, we need to go do the values here because we have 5 options here, I believe. So again, I'm just simply going to click into here, and number 1, whoops, I forgot to type in number 1. 1 is Ireland, 2 rest of Europe. Oops. I think I'm going to type something wrong actually, just so that I can do the spell check on this and see does it pick it up. And if it doesn't, I'll go back in and change this. 3 America. Again, as you can see, I actually have spelled that wrong. All right, and just please remember that I've done it. 4 Asia, and finally 5 other. Add and OK. All right, so that's that done. Again, 99 stays, that stays, and yes, it absolutely is a nominal. So if I just wanted to check out that I've got my spelling correct, just in these 2 columns, I can actually just highlight those 2 like that, and it stopped going all over the rest. Click on ABC, you see it is, yeah, brilliant. So it did recognise America, but it's not got America in here, unfortunately. All right, so that's a pity. So I'm just going to come up here and I need to change it to what I want it to be, which is America. This is really handy, all right, and change it, and spell check is okay. So that's a neat way that if you do have issues with spelling, and a lot of us do, check this one out. I'm not saying go ahead and make loads of errors, but what I am saying is don't be afraid to use things. So they're there for a reason. Okay, I'm going to save that because I've gone down a few things now and I don't want to lose anything. So the next one is brand. What brand has they chosen? So basically, smartphone brand. Smartphone brands. Am I saying that right? I'm not. I'm going to say smartphone owned by participants. That's better. Again, value. Yes, we have values, so we need to go in here, and 1 is Apple, 2 Samsung, 3 Nokia, 4 Huawei. Sorry, I said that wrong. And 5 other. And Okay, so that's that done. It's brilliant. Again, sticking with the missing, absolutely. Columns we're leaving. We're not worried about alignment at the moment, and there is no there's no order nor scale, so it is nominal. Import one, so again that's fine, fine, fine. And here I'm going to put in most important reason for choice, for brand choice. Okay, I'm just going to copy that and go down to the bottom one, put that in, and I'm going to put in least important reason. So in here then I'm going to put in second reason for brand choice. Copy, get on that. I'm going to copy that, put it down into these, and then just double click back in and just keep changing them so they get the right order. Third reason. Fourth reason. Whoops, sorry. There we go. And fifth reason, and least important, that's grand. Okay, so once that's done, I am going to come over here to values, and again, yes, of course we have values. So again, I'm going with the list that we have them. So value 1, and that label is going to be brand name. 2 is cost of phone. 3, picture quality. 6, don't know. Okay, and let's say okay to that. And again, just come away, go back on top of it, and again they're the same all the way down. So I'm going to copy that one, then I'm going to highlight all of these and paste all these in one go. Yes 999, yes to this, and I know I said earlier on that I possibly would put this to ordinal. I've changed my mind. I'm going to leave it at nominal. Okay, so now on to satisfaction of phone, and this is very dissatisfied, etc. In other words, how satisfied are they with their phone? So how satisfied are participants with their brand of smartphone? That's really long-winded, Kathleen, so I might come up with something else for that. So let's just see what is there. How satisfied. So it's a bit neater, a bit tidier. So again, how satisfied are they? We need to put a value in for this, and value number 1 is very dissatisfied. 2, add okay. That's that one done. Yes, I'll be leaving the 999 and 12 and right, but it's absolutely not nominal. There is an order to this, so I will be changing this from nominal to ordinal, without a doubt. Number of apps in here, so number of apps per participant's phone. Again, I'll stick with the word smartphone. So again, it's got continuity, and again there is no value because currently there's no value, but again there will be. Yes 9, yes, yes, and yes it is scale. Okay, the next one is spend. So this is most spent on app by participant. Yes, 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 definitely scale. And again, we're going over to this one, and This one is the first app most used. Okay, so app most used by participant, and again there is no value, again 999 just in case, and again that's definitely nominal because there's neither scale nor order to the answer to this question. App 2 is second most used app by participant, and again the rest is the same, there is no change there, definitely nominal. Then finally the minutes spent per day, so minutes per day spent on smartphone. Okay, and that is a scale. Now the one thing I haven't done is the apps, so I'm going to go back and do that now. So I'm going to do this one here, and I'm not going to hold on to you doing this because it's pretty long, so I'm going to just continue on doing this because I have 27 of these to put in, and I don't think you want to sit and watch me do this. But as soon as I have it done, I actually will come back to you and pick up where I left off and finish this off. Okay, so I've just come to the end of that, having typed them all in. Again, looking back in hindsight, I think I would definitely have taken this on board, taken them all in, but before in Excel I would have figured out what was the top 10 and made them numbers 1 to 10, and everything else I would have made 11 for other. I would have kept a record of how many there were and what they were, and when I would be reporting back I would say, for instance, that the rest were made up of 26, 27 other types, which included, and actually just put them as a list in a sentence. So I wouldn't be just getting rid of them, but I'd be making a decision that I think would be more sensible than what this is right now. And again, if I was to go backwards, I definitely would do that. So I'm going to say OK to that. Oops, I didn't put the last one in. It's out telling me thank you and OK. So basically, oops, get rid of that as well. So I'm basically just going to copy that and just again paste it into there. So that's it all done there. I'll just quickly save it. I will go back now to my data view, and you can see it's all there. And if I was to do value labels, you can see they've all popped in, they've all gone through now, and I can see everything that's going on. The one thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put ID in numerical order, and it won't just put this in, it won't put this in numerical order, I should say. It will put all the cases where they should be. So I'm just going to right click on that, and I'm going to say sort ascending, please. So again, I just right click, just click away, so I can see that they're nice and neat and whatever. I'm also just going to pull that in because I don't need that amount of space. And again, I will pull this in as well, just tidying it up slightly. And again, we'll just pop over here to see what else needs to be tidied up. And here, just tidying it up because it's not necessary. Okay, and that's that done. So again, I'll just quickly save that because I know that's perfectly fine. And now I'm just going to show you a really simple frequency test, so you can start to see what's going to happen. So I'm going to go to Analyze, and in there I'm going to go to Descriptive Statistics, and I'm going to go to Frequencies. In other words, how frequent does this happen? So I'm going to say I want to know the gender. I might also say I want to know the where in the world. I'll come back to age in a minute. Sorry, what I should have done is once I select it, click this arrow so it goes over into this box, and again where in the world, and over it goes. On a temporary basis it comes out of this and over here. So I'm going to go straight to just simply say OK and see what it gives us back. Again, you can see it's opened the input file and putting the data in there for us. So the first thing it's done is the frequencies for the statistics. It's telling me the gender of the participants is this, and it's telling me quite clearly that we have 222 of them and there is nothing missing. So therefore, this is going to give us a true readout for 222 participants. Here it's telling me the gender, again as I've asked up here, now it's telling me what they are. We can see how many are female and male. So we have a frequency of 165 female versus 57 male. This in percentiles would be 74.3 female to 25.7. Now this percentage is based on 222 regardless. This valid percentage, even though I know it's currently the same, this valid percentage would be shown for the number of participants, but it would not include the missing. This includes the missing, this will not include. This is valid. And this is more important to me than this one, to be honest with you. I have no real time for the cumulative on a personal stage. I don't think it really says a lot. It doesn't say a lot to me anyway. So the next thing down here, it's telling us where in the world, and again the same information. You might notice there that other is missing, so obviously other was not selected at all. That's why it's not there. You'll also notice down here that Asia is not here. Again, no participants. So basically when you're reporting back on this, you can say from the 222 participants that took part, 74.3% is female, and you could actually maybe go on further to say that this would open the question to, would it be the same for male as for female if there was an equal distribution of participants? And the only way you'd find that out is actually if you went out and tried to get just male people to try to do it to bring the numbers up evenly. So in relation to where in the world, you can say that your reach through your social media platform reached very much in Ireland and not outside of Ireland. And if you did need that to change, you could actually say that we really wanted to incorporate some of the rest of the world, or especially the rest of Europe. How can we go about it to do those? In other words, looking at what social media you could actually incorporate to get those out and goes up. So that's one of the things. Now I'm going to go straight back to the data set, and to go back quickly and easily, I can do one of two things. I can click here because I can see it, or I can click on here, which is go to data, this one right here. So that's what I'm going to do, go to data. I'm going to go straight back to analyze. I'm going to go straight back to descriptive and to frequencies. But this time I'm going to go to charts, just to show you how nice and easy this can be. And here's pie charts. And I'm going to say, leaving it on frequency and continue. So again, and OK. So again, it's repeated the same tables. Sorry about that, but that's what it does. And this is giving me a pie chart about the gender. So I mean, I'm a firm believer that visualization tells the story much, much quicker than text and numbers by far. And again, depending on who you're trying to get this information across to, is how much of this you'll go. And when in a report situation, I think you've got to choose why you're doing it in a chart as opposed to just with numbers. I don't think every single thing you do needs to be everything from both. You have to choose and choose wisely. Okay, so with that done, again, that's for the gender of the participants and where in the world. So you can see it was predominantly Ireland. So this would not give any no indication as to anything to do with the questionnaire in any other part of the world, because the input from the rest was insignificant. All right, and you don't need any sort of test to see that. You can visually see that they would have been insignificant. And this is the sort of thing you're going to have to think about what you are going to write in your report. It's not good enough just to put the numbers there and the chart there. You've got to be able to give at least one paragraph of what you see in a descriptive manner. Very important. And again, this is good practice for your report that you'll be doing for the customer, because the customer wants to know what is there. What is she looking at? What are they seeing? You've got to give something. And even from this, you can actually get some form of recommendations as well, going forwards to the end of the report by some of the things that you're finding out. That type of thing. And again, as you saw in the very short very short how to change a chart. To change a chart, if you wanted to change colour of it, you can click on it, I think it's double click. Yeah, there we go. Let's double click again. That's right, and it brings this up. All right. Now, there's not an awful lot on this because it's a pie chart, but that's it there. But if I come over here, I wonder, can I change the colour? What's that one do? No, this is the colour here. So I could open this up and say, give it to me in that. That's the background. So I'm just going to select this and keep selecting, so it's just this. So it's the same as in Excel. You select it, and to keep selecting where you are, you just keep single clicking the mouse. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to ask for that colour. And again, I think I'll have to back out to here again to get the whole lot, because I don't particularly like that orange. See what that'll do? No, that's better. Even that's better than the way it was. But you see, you can actually keep going. I would hope to find out, and there it is, fill and borders as well. Should have seen it there. I would like to see where here I could actually get some numbers. So maybe that's something for you to find out and tell me. So I'll just go through this really quickly. Show legend, well, that's good. But the legend is there, I think. Yeah, it was there. But let's go back, because what I'm looking for is percentages, not anything else. So I might get you to show me that, find out where it is, and that's something else you can have a look-see, can you find out. But it's not going to be too hard found, I hope. And there's elements, starter, label, mode, that might be it. So anyway, I'm going to leave you that one to figure out on your own. Should be a bit of a hunt to find it, but I'm sure you will. Save the contents, yes, and we're back. So, and again, to put this back to values and etc., back again. So that's where I'm going to stop this particular one. And next week, sorry, not next week, in the next session, we're going to take this sort of information. If I just go back to the data view, if I actually look at, I'm just going to do this very quickly with age. If I went back to analyze and descriptive statistics and frequencies, I want these, I'm not interested in these two anymore, so I need to take them back over to the left hand side. If I go to the age and bring that over now and just say OK, you'll see this is here, and this really, it's doing nothing. It means nothing. This means nothing. And the reason that chart is there is because I didn't go into the charts and tell it I didn't want it anymore. All right. The only thing I could have done there, and I will go there, is I'll just go back to analyze, back to descriptive and to frequencies, and I'll go straight to charts number 1, because I don't want the chart, because it makes utter nonsense of it, and say continue stats, which is what something else we'll be doing next week. Mean, median and mode, just continue on that, and we'll say OK to that. So here you have it, mean, median, mode. Okay, that's it for now, guys. Good luck, and we'll see you at the next session.